Hey everybody, welcome to episode 010, officially out of the single digits. It's a momentous day. Thanks for joining us. I've been a little sick for the last about 5-7 days or so. Got something kind of nasty in the middle of free week, and it's kind of kicked my ass for the last 5 days. Had to reschedule my episode with Dr. Nicholas Meyerson. That's going to be coming up in the next few days. But I'm pretty stoked to be back. I was feeling like I might die there for a little bit, but I'm well enough to record my voice again because otherwise I just would have sounded like Chewbacca. And I don't think anybody wants to hear that unless you're really into Star Wars. I'm really into Star Wars. I'd actually listen to a podcast of nothing but Chewbacca. If Chewbacca had a podcast, I would 100% listen to that. We should probably make that happen. I wonder if he's available. Anyway, episode 010, out of the single digits, we're going to mark this calendar day down in the history books. Maybe, get Steve Adler to give me a key to the city. I don't know. That probably comes after episode 500 and not 10, but we'll try anyway. So free week was pretty great. Had a pretty awesome free week. I came away blown away by this specific band called Tenor. And I don't know how many of you have actually heard of them. I'm guessing a lot because a lot of people had apparently heard of them. I had not really gotten a chance to see them until this past week. I saw them at Stubbs on Tuesday night of free week, and that's the first time I'd ever seen them. They had dancers going on. My buddy Taryn, who dances for a collective called Blip Switch, also dances for this band, and that's a cool concept. I don't know of a lot of bands that just have dancers on stage. I think probably more of them should. Maybe I should just be a dancer for a band. I'll take my shirt off. I'll do it for free. This is actually an offer for any band who wants me to dance for them. I will do it for free if you let me take my shirt off. But anyway, Tenor is really fantastic. I don't know how to describe their sound. That's how fun it was listening to them. I like bands that will throw something at you that you've never seen before, and you're watching them, or maybe you're listening to them, and you don't know what's going on. And so that's kind of my kick. I really like just not knowing what's going on with something, because it means that I haven't seen it before. So Tenor was really good. We played with a lot of fantastic bands. We played with a band called Palodoro Friday night, and of course we played with the ever shredding, ever incredible Emily Wolfe Friday night at Mohawk. We also played with Los Coast as well. That whole night was phenomenal. We played to a capacity crowd outside Mohawk, and left the stage with the whole place just on fire. It was amazing. So that's probably one of the highlights of my music career thus far. I think everybody comes into this town wanting to play a really cool show at Mohawk outside, and I was lucky enough to do it. We were lucky enough to do it Friday night and just had a blast, and that whole week was awesome. Really glad we got to go out and play like 6 shows over the course of the week, catch up with all my good buds. One of my good buds I actually got to catch up with today. My guest today is Andrew Bennett. Andrew plays guitar in the Austin dance group Shy Beast and is also one of the most phenomenal photographers I've pretty much ever had the pleasure of working with. I like him because he's constantly making me look way cooler than I actually am on stage with Otis the Destroyer. And even today, while we were taping the podcast, he was snapping photos, and his wife was snapping some photos and got a really cool shot of us that I actually am going to use for our episode picture. Instead of a little snapshot, we're going to do an actual action photo. His wife Dorothy is also an extremely talented photographer who met Andrew on Instagram, and the two were married last year. I don't know how many Instagram marriages are out there, but I'm guessing there's not many, but they're one of them. And that was a cool story that they got to tell me about after we stopped taping. Together, they run a few projects out of their home, like Dot and Drew Wedding Photography, and they're actually launching their video production wing this year. So a lot of things are happening over at the Bennett household, and it was just great getting to stop by and catch up with that guy for an hour or so. Extremely talented guy, and this is the reason I do it, man. You just get to talk to all my talented friends without the blast of music going around everywhere, so you can actually understand what each other's saying. The song at the end of the episode is Forever, and that's off Shy Beast's self-titled debut. You could find that on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and any of the fine music streaming outlets. www.shybeast.com for more info on those guys and what they're up to the rest of the year. And without further ado, enjoy, everybody. Andrew Bennett.
It's time for the No Pants Podcast.
No Pants.
No Pants.
Broadcasting from the south of France. We're definitely not in France. I will tell you this. You're listening to the No Pants Podcast. And there I was in Shawshank Prison, listening to the No Pants Podcast. Some look at pants and ask why. I look at pants and ask why not. It is inevitable that we're here today to discuss the No Pants Podcast. I'm Michael Payne, and I listen to the No Pants Podcast. The 1922 World Series brought to you by the No Pants Podcast, yes, and I suppose. Hey, we're gonna listen to the No Pants Podcast? I mean, really, the question at hand is if there will be pants or if there will not be pants. But will there be pants and will there not be pants?
Welcome to the No Pants Podcast.
No pants.
Andrew Bennett, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, we're going to just jump into it, man. There's no countdown. I don't believe in countdowns.
All right, let's do it.
Just do it, man. The two Andrews.
That's right.
Yeah.
If only WK were here too.
Oh man, the three Andrews. He's here in spirit, guiding us like an archangel with his white T-shirt.
How was that show? You went to that show, right?
It was good,
Y'all
man.
opened for that show.
Yeah, we did. It was fun, man. It was really fun. That was a deal because it wasn't our crowd and it was just a normal, like it was a national touring thing.
Yeah.
And we played, and everybody in the audience was like. They were nice. I mean, they were responsive, but they were just like, "Who are you?" Just kind of staring at us.
It was your job to get the party started. For
I know.
The man who gets the party started.
Yeah, I feel like we did an okay job at that. But then a band after us went on, and it was a girl with most of her butt hanging out of the thing. So I feel like she probably did a better job because we wouldn't look as good in that get up. Just didn't pull it off as well. But yeah, no, it was a good show, man. It was a really good show. It was fun. I hadn't seen that guy in like 10, 15 years. I got punched in the face in his mosh pit once in like 2003, and that was the last time I've ever seen Andrew WK. And then there was a girl playing guitar for him that played in a band here called Descendants of Ettrick.
Huh.
And it was like a video game band. So like this band would play around town and they would just play like Zelda and Mario themes, but it was all like crazy hair metal.
Yeah.
So she was kind of perfect to be this guy's touring guitarist, which was really wild. We were all just like, isn't that homegirl from that one band? We were like, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then the next time we saw her, she was just like playing guitar for Andrew WK. So we're like, okay, he just got his guitarist from a band here. So that's cool.
I've gone on Andrew WK rabbit holes, like on YouTube, and there's one video of him doing the weather on a local news station.
Yeah.
And just kind of making it up as it goes along. And
Yeah.
then there's another one that I saw of him giving hair care advice.
Yeah.
And of which his advice is just don't ever wash it.
Yeah.
And apparently he just doesn't wash his hair.
Oh man, I bet a lot of girlfriends had some trouble with that. That's yeah. I've had girlfriends where like 2 days and they're like, you need to do something with this. I'm like, but it's been 48 hours, and they're like, we're gonna break up. I'm like, okay, well, I guess you got to stay strong when you're WK. I guess you can. You got some leverage.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm Andrew WK, and I can do it. So yeah, how you been, man? How you doing?
Really good.
That's a vague question. Hey, how's your life?
You know what? A lot of people, when they get that question, they'll just say like, good, how's yours? Mm-hmm. And so sometimes I'll like really give it a full answer, and sometimes that kind of throws people off.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of like, well, I didn't really want to know, but
Yeah.
I wanted you to ask me.
No, yeah. I'm really. This is a deflection question. You need to bring it back to me. But no, I really want to know how you doing.
I'm doing really well.
Yeah.
2017 was a big year. Everyone talked about how 2017 sucked, and I think publicly it kind of did.
It did.
But in my own small realm, it was a pretty awesome year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can say in their own small realms it was all right. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's the realm. The only realm you should really worry about.
Yeah.
I mean, not completely. You should worry about the bigger thing, but also.
But it's the only realm where you can really make a difference. Mm-hmm. Is kind of like, you can stress about the big picture, about the earth.
Yes.
Or you can like stick to like what you have influence on and what you can do to make better help people out.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's probably better energy spent.
Yeah, definitely. Unless you're Condoleezza Rice. And then you can worry about the
Well,
big
then
stuff.
your influence is just as global as
Yeah.
the issues that, you're
Yeah,
working
yeah.
on.
Condoleezza Rice.
Oh, Condi.
Oh, Condi. She was cool, man. She should come back. I feel like she knew what was going on.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she should do it. Well, cool, man. You are one of my favorite people to talk to around town, and I actually did this podcast episode because we get to sit down and talk. And
Yeah.
I was telling you one time that I get so tired of seeing people out in shows and stuff like that, where it's like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm good. I have to go play music now, so bye."
It's tough.
And then afterwards, you're like, "Hey," and then you're like, "Oh, I'm filled with adrenaline now, so I can't really talk." And so you run into so many people like that, and that's kind of why I did this. And it's cool to have you on because we would always see each other at shows and stuff, and it was the same thing. It was just like,
Dude, that is so relatable. Like, it's after a show, it is so hard to concentrate on
Yeah.
a conversation because your mind is
Yeah.
just on fire.
yeah, yeah,
And then it's like, oh, but I gotta go break my stuff down.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave all my equipment just like out. And
Yeah.
there's always that thought in the back of my head of like, I don't want to leave this for too long.
yeah, yeah.
Because I don't want anything to happen with it.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of people walking around outside, especially like a Mohawk, where you're just like, "Okay, and put your stuff outside now." And
Right
you're
there
like,
by
"Oh,
the dumpster."
Well, all right. Who's about? Oh, there's a nice urine puddle. I guess I'll set my $4,000 pedal board down right here.
Exactly,
This
yeah.
is a great spot. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's a weird deal. I think a lot of people sometimes will kind of mistake you for a bit of a jerk because they're not used to doing it, or they don't really play music much or anything, so they don't know how it is when you're just like, "Okay, I got to play a show," and then afterwards you're like, "Okay, well, I'd just like to go home and eat a sandwich," and that's about it. Some people can work it though, man. Some people are just like, "Yeah, show," and then off, and then like Taylor, my singer Taylor and Otis, is just like great at that, and I'm just like, "Oh, I want to go."
I think, well, and some people just have to do it.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Like after a Shy Bee show, like everybody wants to talk to Mary Claire, and I don't think it's her natural propensity to just talk to 100 people all at
Yeah,
once.
whose is, man? That's crazy.
But she has like gotten really good at that, and it's
Yeah.
been like fun to see her kind of grow into.
Yeah, grow into that role of doing the thing. Y'all just rebranded your name. I don't know
Did.
if I love that phrase or not, but it's kind of true. You guys renamed yourself.
Rebirthed.
Rebirthed. Rebirth. That's good. Like a phoenix. But yeah, man, y'all were called MCG. So explain the process, I guess, as much as you can of going from like because that was a pretty succinct name, like MCG. That's very memorable. It's not typically bands change their names if they're just like, "Oh, our name is a sentence. We should probably shorten it to something," and just kind of felt. Did you guys feel like this was just like a better like fit for what you're doing, or just made more sense? Or
I think we landed on MCG because like it was easy, and we needed a name.
yeah,
And then I think the biggest piece of this is that we were putting on a new record, and the record had a different sound to it. And we had always, tried to have some kind of image because every band needs one, but it
Right.
was sort of undefined. It was just kind of like, Austin indie rock band.
sure,
And so it was kind of an opportunity to just like, okay, we have this new record that sounds different. What can we do to like look different and put our image out there different? And then it was actually suggested to us by Pat Cassidy, who manages Wild Child, like, what about a name change? And as soon as he said it, pretty much everyone was on board.
really,
And it was just kind of like, yeah,
Yeah,
that would
let's
be
do it.
great. And so then, I mean, it was really up to Mary Claire, and she just went and brainstormed a bunch of names, and
there you go.
she would.
That's a really good one. Shy Beast is a good one.
Well, and it's her too.
Yeah.
Because like she's kind of shy, but then she's
Yeah.
also this like electric lead front woman, and
Feel it. Feel
and
that.
on stage, like I think she feels like a beast, and
Yeah,
other
yeah.
people see her as a beast. And there's kind of that. What's Beyonce's like alter ego on stage? Sasha Fierce.
That is?
I think that is it, Sasha Fierce.
There we go.
So I don't know if Mary Claire thinks of it in that way, but I kind of think of it in that way.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's cool, man. I like the idea of like, I think when I hear it, I think of like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast, just like sitting in his room and being like, "Go away." Just like, don't want to talk to anyone. But yeah, it's I think that's a weird thing about performing too, is you can't don't be shy on stage.
Yeah.
And so you kind of got to let whatever you got loose on stage, and then be whatever off stage. That's the fun part about it.
Few people can pull off the shy on stage thing. Have you ever seen Bob Dylan in concert?
I mean, I've seen videos. Yeah,
it's awful.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I've heard he's not too great.
I saw him once, like in high school.
Yeah,
and it was like, even in high school, I was like, this is a bad concert.
Even in high school, we were supposed to be like, this is everything I would imagine Bob Dylan to be.
It was like my third concert of my life, and I was like, I don't think this is right.
No, I don't think this makes sense.
The thing that I remember, you couldn't understand anything he said, and it's not like he was always the most articulate person, but he just didn't care to articulate anymore. And and you listen to Bob Dylan for the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then when he was introducing his band, this is when it really hit me. You couldn't understand the guys' names or the instruments they played.
This is hurting me.
Exactly. Johnny goes back on the guitar. And I remember thinking, that's too bad for those band members, because nobody ever gets to hear their names. yeah.
It's he was he always just talked like the coach from Waterboy. Except he was just a very talented songwriter. It's like Abba on Monday. What was that, Bob Dylan? Abba on Monday. Did you just say apple pie on Monday? Is that one of your songs?
Oh man!
And the funny thing is Bob Dylan could just call a song "Apple Pie on Monday," and you're like, yeah, that's sure, that's definitely a Bob Dylan song.
Yeah,
100%.
Dude, Waterboy.
Yeah. Oh, great movie, man. Holds up.
Do you ever listen to Adam Sandler albums?
Oh man, all the time.
They were incredible.
We're of roughly the same micro generation. Mm-hmm. So it's when you grow up, kind of like somebody on the block would have the Adam Sandler CD, and you would all gather at his place and listen to it. Maybe low down volume because their parents were home, and that was the dirtiest shit you've ever heard in your entire life. So we're like, oh man, we gotta turn down the volume on this.
And everyone had that one friend that had all the explicit albums in middle school.
Yeah.
I had none.
Yeah.
But my one friend had Eminem.
Sure.
Green Day.
Yeah. There we go.
Early on, I remember Green Day, I remember sensing that my parents wouldn't like this, and so I wouldn't bring it home. So.
And your mom would know somehow. She'd know.
Yeah.
What do you got in that bag? Some sprees. I got some.
I don't have any plans on having children soon, but I wonder when I'm a parent if I'll be able to sense that guilt that I felt as a kid of walking through the door and I've got a CD or something I'm not supposed to have.
Right.
Because I remember how guilty I would feel.
Yeah.
And I wonder if parents can just look at you and be like, okay, what are you doing?
I feel like they
wrong?
can. I feel like you can if you make somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you make a person, the person that you made, you'd be like, I could pick up on your shit.
Yeah.
Because I literally made you.
Those expressions that you're doing, those are mine. So I can recognize it.
I gave you your life force. So I'm able to read your thing. Man, I had my first really explicit CD was, I think it was a Limp Bizkit record.
Oh yeah.
It was Limp Bizkit's Significant Other. That was the one. And it wasn't even typically that bad, but there are some F-bombs in there,
Yeah.
And I remember my mom heard that one day and she was just like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. She did the thing. I was like, oh man.
But then I had this one awesome experience where I think I was in middle school. I had my little Discman and I was listening to AC/DC Back in Black.
Yes.
And I ventured out to show this, and also AC/DC doesn't curse, and that was kind of the big thing when I was a little kid.
And they were still dangerous.
Yeah,
they still had a dangerous sound to them.
Well, and they had this sort of 80s satanic devil, rumors, which of course are ridiculous. And but I remember playing Back in Black, the song, for my mom, and she listened to it and she's like, that's got a nice beat to it. And I was like, yes!
Mom approved.
Yes, AC/DC allowed in the house.
Yes, and I got it through. We got it. Well done, Mom. and then all of a sudden your mom's just like, check out this Kiss record. and then the next thing you know, she's into like Lamb of God. You're just like, oh,
Sure,
this is a big step for you, Mom. Paints, dyes her hair black, stuff like that. You're like, you're freaking me out, Mom. Stop it.
The other cool moment I had, this is making me think about it, and because it's the No Pants podcast.
There you go.
When skinny jeans like first made their comeback, now they're kind of fading out, but like when they first like got big, I guess I was like right at the beginning of college, and I remember like going home, and like anytime I went clothes shopping, it was because like it was Christmas time and I was with my mom and we were at the mall because that's what we would do, and so I'd always kind of trick her into buying me clothes, and I remember this one time we were at Urban Outfitters, and I like all the cool kids were wearing these skinny jeans, and so I kind of wanted to like try some skinny jeans, but like it was a little edgy.
Yeah.
And the kids that were wearing them were like a little edgy, so I didn't know like, and I don't think she would have cared, but she would have been like, I don't know, those aren't very nice pants, or like something like that. And so I remember I put them on, and I walk out of Urban Outfit or the dressing room, and I like show them to my mom, and I'm thinking that she's gonna like deny, and she just goes, "Oh, are boys wearing pants like that again?" And I was like, "Yes." She was like, "Yeah, I mean, all the guys I dated in college wore this."
Sometimes your mom's just like let stuff fly. You're just like, wow, how did I get away with that? My mom never cared that I grew my hair out. She's like, it's just hair.
Yeah.
Just got it. My dad was like, this isn't happening. Like under 18, he was just like, no. He's just like, get a haircut. But my mom was just like, I don't, whatever, just as long as you're not shooting drugs. Like I was like, is that the bar? I mean, if that's the bar, that's cool. I'm cool with that. So we can do it. So yeah, man, I listened to that Shy Beast record this past week, and it's definitely like a different sound, man. It's a good headphone record, dude. And that's actually due large part to your guitar playing. It's
thank you.
Spacey, some would say ethereal.
There's really
like
good
that word.
Percussion in that
Percussion.
Drew Silverman on the percussion.
on the percussion. Yeah, look that one up. But yeah, man, it sounds great, dude. Really, just I love the beat. I hear like a lot of ABBA in there, and
I'll take that.
Yeah, dude. Some of Montreal too, man. So yeah, man, it's good sounding stuff, man. I really love genres of music that I'm not like. I don't have a lot of I don't play stuff like that at all. So like, and it's like jazz and that like I can just be a spectator to it.
It's an I mean, the group of musicians in that band is such an interesting mix.
Yeah.
Because our drummer has like he's played on a bunch of metal records, like double bass pedal.
Oh, shut
metal
up, man.
records.
Really?
Like, that's kind of his background.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
And he's like the first guy to like, I think he missed it because we had a show, but he was like trying to get to the Dillinger Escape Plan, like,
oh, shut up.
final tour. And honestly, like, my sort of bread and butter is Led Zeppelin. That's the thing that like I grew up on and always wanted to play. And so for me, it was a little bit of a change too, kind of going this pop route, which has been like really fun to learn. And then also like we've all figured out ways to like introduce those elements into the band, even though like you might not hear it.
Yeah, you kind of do.
But
you
like
on
that lead single Back With Me, Drew's playing this like pretty heavy kick drum line.
Yeah.
And then Jay almost kind of has this sort of, I don't know if it's like punk rock or kind of like garage rock background. And so a lot of his bass lines are just kind of aggressive and simple and punk rock.
Really good, man. They're really tight too.
And then David, the guitar player, is a huge Beatles background, so he harmonizes with MC all day long. And then of course MC loves the Cardigans. I think that might be like the number one influence.
You could tell
for her. I think that'd be a safe assumption.
Yeah.
And so then like all of us together, it's just like it's an interesting mix, and then we all kind of come around the kind of MC as a figurehead and sort of like in setting like the tone and the mood of the songs, the band and everything.
You're absolutely right, man. Like pop music really is kind of this. It's a kaleidoscope of stuff, man. Where you'll see a lot of bands like that come from very crazy backgrounds, and then
LaCroix pop.
Oh, there we go. You gotta add it in there. We're gonna reverberate that when I edit it, so it'll just explode. But yeah, man, you see a lot of bands like that come from different backgrounds, and then just kind of make this kaleidoscope sound. That's where the most interesting stuff comes from, dude.
Yeah,
definitely.
And then The record, we did our first record with Frenchie Smith, who you guys recorded with.
Yep.
And
Old Frenchie.
dude, we love Frenchie. He's we can get to this later, but Dorothy and I are doing a mini documentary about him.
Yeah.
'Cause
Shut up, dude.
In my opinion, he's the most interesting man in Austin.
He will just speak in
nobody talks
who
like
don't
him.
know Frenchie. Frenchie will speak in like these beautiful mosaic sentences to just get the simplest point across. and it's like, well, I think we need right now is like we need to basically take ourselves back to caveman times and get a sense of the rhythmical feel that somebody, and you cut him off, you're like, so you want more kick drum? He's like, yes. Like, okay,
I love
thanks.
that. Or he'd be like, can you make your guitar a little more evil?
Yeah.
Have like more
Yes.
more drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, actually, yes, I can. I can definitely do that. Yeah, man, he's great at pushing too. Like he'll kind of get on. Sometimes he'll get on my ass for wanting to like do a part over and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm gonna do this part over. He's like, shut it up. And then you're done with it. And he's fine. It's just
Yeah.
he wanted. So he was one of the first producers I've ever worked with where he's really into like getting the performance from you.
Yeah.
And like pushing you towards something instead of just kind of letting you do your thing.
Yeah.
Which is good too sometimes. But yeah, man, he's a wizard, dude.
So yeah, we had an awesome experience with them on the first record. But I think like the mistake that we made is that we like just wanted to get it done and get it out. And so we
Yeah.
did 3 songs in 3 days, done.
Yeah.
And on this next record, we went with Danny Reich and had like an amazing experience with him.
Yeah.
But then we just like really took our time with it. And so I think we did like 7 days for 3 songs or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And just really like gave ourselves the freedom to like, hey, we can redo stuff.
Yeah.
We can throw away parts. We can experiment,
Yeah.
spend an hour just experimenting and then lay something down. And it just made a huge difference to have that mentality.
Yeah, it really does. I think it's a relaxing thing to do when you're in the studio and just have the time and the peace of mind to just be like, well, let's just try stuff,
Yeah.
instead of just let's do it. Okay, done. All right, done. So I've always worked better being able to just switch, take stuff out, switch it up, try it,
Sorry about the blower, by the way.
That's fine. We've got some lawn work going on. We're here. We're doing it. We this isn't a sterile environment. We're out in the world.
That's
Bennett.
right.
Yeah, the 2 Andrews fighting crime. We should be like if we were a comic book duo, our superpowers would be like photography and ethereal guitar, and then mine would be like having excessive opinions on Justin Timberlake records or something. I don't know.
Dude, there should be a photographer superhero with like
Yeah, why isn't there?
shooting lasers at their
Wait,
camera.
wasn't Peter Parker a photographer?
He was.
Was he?
Yes.
There you go.
He never. Well, actually, he did like incorporate photos because he would like frame bad guys.
Yeah.
He would like tie them up in webs and then take a picture and send it to the press.
Oh yeah, that's right. Holy shit! There
So
you go, man.
He did kind of use his.
Yep.
But there needs to be like a magical camera,
Yeah.
like a, I don't know, like a hammer of Thor,
Yeah. Like Peter
Camera.
Parker meets Doctor Strange.
something like that. Yeah.
Portals of time or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what the camera would do.
Well,
That's for another
it would
time.
shoot lasers.
Yeah.
Or
definitely.
freeze you.
It would freeze you.
Mm-hmm.
It would cover you in a 2-inch layer of honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Just-
sky's really the limit.
I mean, if you are a villain, like a comic book villain, and you're wanting to fuck some shit up, and you are trying to deliver a very crucial line to the hero, and be like, "Well, your time is up," but as soon as you're about to deliver it, you're just covered in 2 inches of honey. It's gonna ruin your day. You're not gonna want to. I feel like if you're covered in honey, you're not gonna want to be evil. You're just like, I
Yeah.
can't. I'm too sweet right now. if dad jokes were written into comic books, yeah, that's how it would go, man.
that's it.
But yeah, dude. So speaking of photography, man, like you, so this was a good year for you, photography wise, man.
Yeah,
it's pretty sweet. Austin Chronicles best live music photographer, man. That's pretty cool. You have fun with that?
It was. I mean, honestly, it let me quit my day job.
Oh, shut up, dude.
It at the end of the day, it was just great exposure.
Yeah. No
So-
pun intended.
So it yeah, so I kind of come from the video world, and I'm actually getting back into that world now. But I worked for a production company for 4 years until last March.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of around the time of the Austin Chronicle thing. And
Yeah,
so, and I'd already been doing a bunch of photography and was, getting a bunch of paid gigs for it.
Mm-hmm.
But then with that, it just kind of mushroomed after that.
Yeah.
And allowed me to quit and just do it full time.
Dude, that is rad.
So last year was a ton of photos, but then I've always done video too.
Yeah.
And so kind of our goal, Dorothy and I's goal this next year is to like really get back into video, and she's got a video and animation background too.
Yeah. So y'all are starting, how many companies did you say together? 14?
That's right.
So 14?
But no, so Bennett Productions.
Yeah.
Bennett Productions will be coming out this year.
Oh, rad.
And that's our video company.
Okay.
And so we got a bunch of projects already on the books, and
Okay.
one of them is a mini doc about Frenchie Smith.
There we go. Yes.
And actually, speaking of radio folks, we just had a meeting with Taylor Wallace at KUT.
Yeah, man, she's great.
And so we're going to do a little mini doc about her too.
Oh, man, awesome. She's awesome. I'm one of her biggest fans that she doesn't know.
Me too. We are too.
She has a great, because I get to edit this, man. I get to
Yeah.
edit this, make myself sound cool. She is on the air, and when you're actually on the radio, you can't like do any of this stuff. And so she's so smooth with her delivery, and her playlists are like fantastic all the time.
It's such a talent.
So yeah, man.
Do you get this? A lot of people think I'm going to be good as like a speaker,
Yeah.
as like a public speaker, because like, oh yeah, you're on stage all the time.
Yeah.
I can't public speak at all.
Yeah, I can't public speak.
I freeze up. My jokes suck.
Yeah.
Like, I
I wouldn't-
stutter. My hands start shaking.
I've never done that a lot. So not a lot. I would assume, yeah. I don't know. We'll see when people ask me to do that at some point. I
It'll
don't know.
probably start happening. Yeah. Especially as this podcast grows and grows.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to come speak at our Knights of Columbus event? Like, well, I mean, you realize my podcast is called the No Pants Podcast, right? They're like, yeah, but none of the Knights of Columbus wear pants. Like, oh, that's a weird thing. Knights of Columbus probably start wearing pants. But man, that's cool, dude. I love mini documentaries, man. I love the fact that you could film those, put them online, and it's just a short little chunk of. When you say mini, what do you mean lengthwise there?
I mean, like 3 to 5 minutes.
Oh, boom, man.
It's like real.
Oh, really?
We just put out one about Jane Ellen Bryant.
Okay.
So that one's on, I guess, on like her Facebook and our Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just like little vignettes, like little stories, and it's a cool way. One, it's a cool way to hang out with people. I mean, just like doing a podcast.
Yeah.
And two, it's like, I don't know, like everyone's got a story, and also Austin's just so full of people doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everyone. It seems like everyone I know is starting a business or is promoting a band or is, being a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Like everyone's got something that they're doing that's kind of cool. And they
Yeah.
might even have a couple other things on the side that they're doing that are kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so there's just like a lot of stories just like around us
There are,
all the
man.
time.
Absolutely, is why I started this, dude.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. Sometimes I'm surprised that like the city isn't bigger than it is. Do you know what I'm saying? That may not make sense because it's growing so fast anyway. But like, I feel like it's like, man, how does the city hold it all?
Yeah.
Really, if you get into it, because there's just the people here blow my mind like all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, 100% know what you're talking about. So but 3 to 5 minutes, man, is a good chunk to digest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say definitely. So video, so photography, and you're wanting to do more direction, like directing and stuff like that this year. Did you do a lot last year? Or?
Well, last year I was really focused on photography.
Yeah.
But in the 2 years previous to that, I was directing a lot of kind of web commercials essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
And and so this year, we've got some mini docs that we're working on, and then we're about to shoot a music video for Shy Beast.
Gotcha.
But really hoping that will get us some more music video work.
There you go.
Because that's really something I want to do, because it kind of bridges the gap of, like, I just love the music scene.
Right.
It's such like a generic statement.
No, man,
but like,
it's great.
There's
There's everything.
Yeah.
There's like literally everything you could want.
And something like I've begun to realize, like, I've been in Austin for 8 years now, and something I've started to realize is, like, it makes a big difference to be in one place for 8 years.
Yeah.
Just like the people that you get to know, and like the way you see people grow, and the way you see people just like evolve into what they are now.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's like it really pays to just like go to one city and just stay in that city for a while.
And just kind of develop your, build your life, It's, man, it really pays off. It's a really fascinating thing. I've seen so many people that I've known for, 6, 7, 8 years. I've been here 10. You've been here 8? Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've been here around the same time. Skyline was much different.
Yeah.
8 years ago. But yeah, it's a pretty fascinating thing.
Well, and we all, I feel like every artist in Austin probably at some point has that thought of like, well, what about New York? Or what about LA?
Yeah.
And like those are kind of like the two other places, or
Yeah.
Nashville.
Yeah.
The other place that you could go if you wanted something quote unquote bigger and better.
Sure.
But it's like, man, unless you've got a sweet hookup there like waiting for you, to start at the bottom of those cities and try to get somewhere is just, it's too daunting for me. And now that I've been here for 8 years, I'm like, dude, I'm staying here.
Just this, yeah. I mean, and also, how many people that go to those other cities actually kind of grind it out as much as they can?
Yeah.
Here first, Not saying that a lot of them don't, but you'd be surprised at how much location doesn't matter if you're putting in the time, and the work, and you just get to know the people around you.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty crazy thing.
Until you kind of get, I mean, I imagine like we all think about this, about just sort of how do you get to the next step? And it's like kind of until you get that sort of, if you can get national recognition in Austin, then you can take that to anywhere. It seems.
Yeah.
I don't know the formula for this,
No,
but this is what I hypothesize.
Yeah. It's a good hypothesis, man. It's a good one. Also, too, there's just a lot of ways to get stuff out now that wasn't around 10 years ago, even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
With social media. So its location is a little bit less and less relevant. I think location is more relevant if you're wanting to do, like acting. You want to get into acting, stand-up comedy, stuff like that. Not so much, but like, if you want to do stand-up or acting or something like that, probably LA is the place to go, just because it's the whole industry is there. If you want to do plays and different things with music, maybe Brooklyn, whatever. But for the most part, man, there's a lot of stuff you can do here. And this is a pretty great city. I think a lot of people come with certain expectations, and then they might move away before, really getting a chance to dig their heels in. But I think probably people make that mistake wherever they are, know. So yeah, man. What was the first? I've always wanted to ask you this. What was and I like asking everybody this too. What was did you have a time where you're just like, with photography and stuff like that, where you're just like, I want to do that? Were you watching something? Did you see something where you're just like, that's fucking awesome? It
honestly comes back to like the Austin music scene. I was always at shows, and I had a camera. I had a Canon Rebel T4i, and I remember I took it, I think just like one night, I was like, I go to all these shows, or I'm like at these shows because Shy Beast is playing, and it'd be really cool to take photos of some artists. Like, that would just be a cool thing to do. And I remember I brought my camera out, but live music photography is a little challenging.
Yeah.
Because it's low light on moving subjects.
Ooh,
it's like, that's the hardest thing to shoot.
Yeah.
And so I remember taking out my little Canon Rebel, and I had this like kit lens on it, which I didn't really know at the time, but it was like a terrible lens.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get anything that I couldn't get anything that I thought looked good.
Right.
So it was very discouraging. And so then I kind of looked into it a little bit more. And then I finally got this 50 millimeter lens. It's like a f1.4 Canon 50 millimeter lens. It's like the gold standard.
Okay.
And from that moment on, I like fell in love with photography.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden I could shoot in low light because it was a fast enough lens, and I could get that pretty blur in the background.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
That I always saw, the good photographers getting.
Quote unquote. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's how you do it. And so that's what gave me enough encouragement to just like do it a lot.
Yeah.
And then I just started going to shows, and I would go to, like most of my friends are musicians. And so like someone is playing every weekend that I know and like, want to go see.
Sure.
And so I would just start showing up at shows and bringing a camera. And then what's great about doing photography with musicians is there's an appreciation for photography, because like we all need it for social media.
Yeah.
We all need it
Everybody
for like,
does.
it's good for our marketing. It's good for our brand as musicians to like get good photos.
Mm-hmm.
And so it all just kind of played into that of like, oh, I can go and I'm already at these shows. I'm already supporting these friends, and now I can like take photos of them. And then of course, like they start seeing them, they start liking them. Then like people, start encouraging me about photography. And then it just turned into something that I was really into.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was just from doing it. It was just going out and shooting a lot and editing a lot.
Yeah, man.
And
so it was more of a gradual thing with you, where you kind of like fell in love with it the more you did it.
And it really like there wasn't a ton of study involved. I was working at this production company, and my boss there, the director of the company, would like give me tips here and there of how to improve, how to edit. And then it was really just a process of just doing it and just trial and error and over and over and over again.
Right. Yeah. That's a thing that happens where it's not one deal that kind of is like, I have to do, and it's just like some people get that instant spark where they're just like, oh, I have to do it now because I saw this one thing. But man, with me and playing bass, it was definitely a gradual thing. The same deal where it's like the more I did it, the more I was like, oh, this is awesome. I want to do this. I don't want to do anything else in a band. And it's just the repetition. So it's like you're chasing something that is there subconsciously, but maybe consciously for a little bit, you're not even aware of how much you love it. It's just like, and that's weird, man, because sometimes you just act off your subconscious and you're just like, yeah, let's do it. I don't know why I'm doing this, but let's do it,
and then
sort of thing.
Along the way, you like, there are those little leaps. Like you figure something out, and then you're like, oh, okay, this is taking me to a little higher level.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is what it is with like learning a new skill or a new art. It's just like, it's gradual with little leaps in between.
Gotta be one of the most like deeply gratifying things to do.
Yeah.
And it's definitely an antidote to, the short-term stuff that we can get on our phones and those little bursts of dopamine and this, but something like learning a skill over time provides just a deep sense of gratification that I don't think a lot of stuff can provide.
Yeah. And it's unending.
Yeah, it never stops.
Yeah,
like you never like. I'm never like, oh, I'm good. I'm glad. I'm always like, I'm horrible at bass, and I need to get better now. It's just like always a thing of like, well, and I think that comes too with like, the more you love something, the more you want to figure out how to do it better and better, and your margin for error gets smaller and smaller. And that's just called skill. Because sometimes especially you'll have maybe a shot or something, or maybe even when you're playing guitar, where it's like maybe you played like garbage and you feel like you did, and then everybody else is like, that was incredible, and you're just like, what are you talking about? Like,
I just want once someone in the audience to be like, dude, you really suck today. And I think every musician experiences that.
Yeah.
I mean, half the time I think I played terribly.
Yeah, man.
But no one has ever told me that.
Yeah.
And I would just love it if one time someone was like, I was listening closely to your guitar playing, and it was pretty off tonight.
It was bad.
Like, that would feel so good for just once for that to happen.
Listen, man, I got to tell you that the way you played everything tonight was just pure garbage. Just horrible. No, man. I get that. It's a weird feeling to be like, man, dude, I was so bad, and then just everybody else is just like telling you the complete opposite. So you're just like, cool. But then that just teaches you that you just chill out. It's
say
all right.
thank you.
Yeah,
just learn to say thank you.
And also that you learn a lot too that people don't hear what you hear because you have to live in those songs like almost every day, and every day if you're the songwriter, like, so you hear it different. People aren't listening for mistakes. Like people don't come to a show, listening for mistakes and stuff like that.
There's a phrase I like that I heard recently, and it was, you would care less about what people thought about you if you knew how little they did.
Right. Yeah, man. It's that's so true, dude. It's I think that's one of the lessons that you learn. How old are you?
30.
30. Okay, so we're around the same age. That's around that's the lesson you learn probably late 20s.
Like
nobody
dwells on
nobody gives
you.
a shit, man. Like
Yeah.
nobody cares. And that's what and I think I have this theory that like a lot of people in maybe their early 20s that are really like anxiety prone just haven't learned that lesson yet. Do you ever go out anywhere and you're around a lot of people in that age group and a lot of them are just like super anxious all the time and you're just like, why is everybody in this? But I think that's why, man. I think it's just a natural thing. Like the younger you are, you don't know that lesson. You're not aware yet. Like your adult things are kicking in and you're kind of learning stuff. And one of the first things you kind of learn as a young adult is like, nobody really gives a shit, man.
Yeah.
It's okay. Stop. Nobody's really judging you. Nobody's out to get you.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, nobody really. I used to freak out when I made mistakes on stage. I used to just start sweating and just like, you could always tell if I made a small mistake because I would just be dripping with sweat and stuff like that. And you can't. Yeah, you just can't.
I definitely struggle with that. It depends on like what the performance is and like what the setting is. But then I also like the Mars Volta was one of my favorite bands growing up.
Yeah.
And those guys, so much of it was the performance that like it didn't matter if they hit the notes.
No.
And they would, but like for the most part, they were just going nuts on stage,
Right.
and like that's what the crowd was there for.
Oh, yeah,
to just
man.
like feel the energy.
Without a doubt. And especially like 10, 13, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
When that was the deal, was just like, how many notes could you hit while still going bananas?
Yeah.
On stage, but that was a cool part of that era of music,
Yeah.
the chaos. And do you remember that band called Blood Brothers?
No.
Remember Blood Brothers? No. Blood Brothers was a band that had these two singers, and they were just like a very screechy, screamy thing. But their music was this like chaotic blend of like post-hardcore and like really like hard, edgy kind of indie rock, grindy stuff. And it was so chaotic, but it was like every one of their shows was just like, it was kind of like a Dillinger Escape Plan type deal.
Yeah.
Except the vocalists were just very obnoxious, and you just like, it was one of those bands that the vocals didn't age well. You're just like, you listen to it now and you're just oh, I could deal without, like you listen to a lot of bands now from like that era. You're just like, I could deal without your vocals. Like there's nothing going on. What are you adding to this at all?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, glad I aged out of that. Glad I got out of because that was tiring, just having to, I kind of do it now with Otis, but not as much.
But y'all are such like a rock and roll show.
Yeah. Gotta stop banging the head so much, man. I woke up the other day after 3 days of that, and I was just like, I'm 33. I can't be.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You got to start stretching.
Yeah, man. I gotta
kind of roll your neck a little bit before the show.
Yeah, that's like an important thing now. I'm like, should I do pre-show yoga? That's what I gotta do, man.
You could do something for me while you're on stage.
Yeah, sure. What you got?
You could keep your hair out of your face.
Yeah.
The people want to see your face, Andrew.
I feel like that's my thing, is the hair just everywhere, like a Chris Carrabba song, right?
Because I love taking photos of you guys, and I'm always looking for like the small moments in the show where you like throw your hair back and you can actually see your face in the photo.
Oh man, that's a part of the plan, dude. I don't want people to actually see my face. I'm in witness protection, actually.
I think one of the most like influential music things in my life was Led Zeppelin, How the West Was Won, and the accompanying DVD to that.
Yeah.
It came out when I was in high school, and when I think that like that is what made me want to be in a band.
Yeah.
Like, I was already a guitar player, but I saw that DVD and I was like, dude, if that's what being in a band is like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, right? Dude, they were just like wizards, dude.
They're incredible. And I was always torn between wanting to be Robert Plant and Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Because several years ago, and for several years in that band, I used to be a singer. And very much like wanted to be Robert Plant.
I
like
could see it.
in that
I could
band.
see it. Yeah.
And then now I'm kind of more in the Jimmy Page
There you
realm,
go.
and that's been like a nice place to be in.
There.
But in that DVD, something you never see Jimmy Page's eyes.
Yeah.
He's always kind of looking down, and maybe he has like a big like overbrow or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't really tell.
Yeah.
But then every now and then in that DVD, he'll like look up, and you'll see his eyes, and you're just like,
There
and
it is.
that's what it's like, Andrew, when you finally see your face during an Otis the Destroyer show.
It's man, I'm kind of it's my like safe. It's my blanket, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Like the hair is like just kind of like I can be in my own world because like it's just like I'm just trying to play. But sometimes I'm like I can't see my guitar and I'm about to hit this little thing and I need to be able to see my thing. But thanks. Oh, I'll try to be. You're telling me to be less Jimmy Page like? I want to be more Jimmy Page like. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
I'll deal with it.
Did you used to have long hair? Did you do the?
I mean, I had like a shag,
Okay.
I had kind of like a Jimmy Page shag.
There you go. Okay. So you went for it for a little bit. You sang for a little bit?
I did, yeah. So in college, I was in a band called Strawberry Jam.
Nice.
And dude, it was such a fun band. We went to Texas A&M.
Okay.
And A&M's like a pretty conservative town. And,
Good music scene though, man.
It does.
Good. Yeah.
It,
very underrated. A lot of people don't know that College Station's like a great place to play.
Well, yeah, and but it's mostly known for like country music.
Sure.
And there weren't like a ton of bands around when we were there, and so a bunch of us were in jazz class together. And so we ended up forming this jam band, but then it like turned into more than a jam band. It kind of just turned to like a regular rock and roll band. Mm-hmm. And we ended up recording like 2 full-length albums like while we were in college. But like the best part of that band is that we played at like every frat house in Texas.
Oh my God.
In that band, like while we were in college.
There you go. Yeah.
And it became like, I mean, it was our frat.
Yeah.
Being in that band.
Right.
And we like got into all these parties. And we were just like, and we played like tons of covers. I mean, we had like 100-song cover list in addition to our original stuff.
Yeah.
And we just like, we made a ton of money as college kids.
Yeah.
In college, just like playing at
So
frat houses.
You're just like, wait, we're the only ones not broke and we're the musicians? This is so weird.
It was awesome.
That's so cool. Because frats have funds.
Oh,
They
dude,
just have
unlimited.
Yeah.
They wouldn't bat an eye to like, a $2,000 or $3,000 price tag.
Oh, that's fantastic.
For a party. And
that's amazing.
And it's like, so let me get this straight. We're going to come to your parties, which we're not allowed to. We're
Right.
not allowed in, but we can come in and be like the focal point, and you're
Yeah.
going to pay us, and you're going to like give us
Absolutely.
all of your alcohol.
Yes. Oh, that's fantastic.
I mean, it
dude.
was kind of like, it was the time of our life.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh man, why'd you have quit that? Should have just kept it going.
Yeah. Bands. Well, then what would happen was, I mean, it had an expiration date like
Sure.
everything else.
Yeah.
But
Like Strawberry Jam tends to.
But like around 25, we were still playing frat parties. And,
yeah.
and that's when I was kind of like,
nah.
I don't think I can.
Ben Affleck and Dazed and Confused at that point.
Yeah.
You're just like, this is a little weird.
I don't think I can talk to half of the crowd here.
No, not at all. You start talking to the freshmen, they're like,
I'm like, yeah, I can't. I can't have
like you
conversations with you.
What are you, 12?
And
What's
there
going
was
on here?
oh man, that was fun. There was one time it was like 2 a.m. and we're like breaking down from the show, and I guess what this is more about is like the excess of a fraternity.
Sure.
They had a room full of like 24 packs of like Coors Light or Natty Light or whatever.
Oh.
Like a room of it.
Oh.
And it was like their storage.
Like you would hear in a legend.
Yeah.
Some sort. Just-
A college legend.
yeah.
And it was like 2 a.m. Everyone's like either wasted or already passed out.
Yeah.
And we're like loading our equipment back into we had this like 85 Suburban that we drove around. It was great. We're loading our equipment back into the Suburban, and we noticed that like right next to the stage is this storage room of beer. And we had these road cases. And so we concocted this scheme where we like brought all of our equipment into the Suburban, and then we brought those like amplifier road cases, like the silver and black flight cases, and we just like brought it back, would fill it with like 8 cases of beer, take it to the Bourbon, bring it back, fill it with 8 cases of beer, take it to the Suburban.
Yes.
And we ended up at like one of our band members' houses with like 30 24 packs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I think it was Natty Light, so it's not that great of a
well,
story.
you need all of those to actually get drunk.
But then we and it was like right before summer, and so then like and we spent summer in College Station, so like that summer we drank for free because of this frat.
That's fantastic, dude. Natty Light, Ocean's 11.
And then we knew the guys in that fraternity, and they like later told us like, we know you took all that beer, but can y'all come play our party next month?
And we'll pay you double.
Like it wasn't a dent.
Yeah.
It wasn't a drop in the bucket.
Do you see any Illuminati style like Rush things, like Illuminati style secret frat stuff?
I have 2 stories about that. One of them is one time this fraternity hired us simply to be a cover for the hazing that was going on.
Gotcha.
And we didn't know this until we got there. Mm-hmm. And we get there and we're playing indoors in like their dining hall or something.
Gotcha.
And there's like nobody there. And we're kind of like, what's going, like, this is weird. Like, we don't really care because like we already got paid. They would like hand us a check when we walked in. We're like, this is weird. Like, why isn't anyone here? And then like one of our band members like went to the bathroom and he's like, dude, there's a whole group of guys in blindfolds out on the patio. And so like nobody's watching our show. And so we all kind of like sneak out and we like go out there, and there wasn't like really anything happening. It was basically like the older guys were yelling at the younger guys and they were all in blindfolds.
Yeah.
So it was, it was weird, but it was, the weirdest part was that they hired us as like there was a cover up. Like we were the party that was supposedly going on, but it was really just like an underground hazing operation. This
is a nice band. Oh, what's this blindfold doing? Oh no. That's cool.
And then the second story is a little lighter, but we were at it was like a Rush event or something, and it was like it was a huge party, and like we were playing on stage and we're having a great time, and I like look over to the left and there's just like this really strange operation happening, and I guess this is a drinking game, but what they were doing was the guys would do a keg stand, but it was on an ice cooler. So they'd put their hands on the ice cooler. Somebody would lift up their legs. Yeah. And then they weren't drinking beer. They would dunk their head into an ice cooler filled with ice water.
Oh my God.
So into freezing water. So the first thought is like, I hope somebody doesn't drown while they're doing that. But they would dunk their head and they would hold their breath in the ice water as long as they could. And then they would come back out. They would stand up. Another guy would slap him across the face, and then somebody would hand him a beer, and they would shotgun the beer.
Gotcha. Okay.
So frozen head, slap across the face, shotgun a beer. Like, that was the process.
Ooh.
And like I guess it was so bizarre to watch. And I guess there's some combination of like head rush, and what do you call it? Head rush, brain freeze, and like
they basically just wanted to simulate a concussion.
It was just, and then the thing is that this was happening like over and over and over to like, 20 different people over to the left of the stage. And I remember at some point I start like forgetting lyrics because
you're just watching it.
I'm so distracted by this like bizarre operation. And I'm like kind of worried about these kids.
The kids.
Too.
Yeah. It would be like if you were like playing and there just happened to be like 20 baptisms just next to you. You're just like, this is a thing to go on while I'm playing music. This is a little weird.
Maybe I bet that's what they call the drinking game.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the baptism today.
I never understood. This is why frats exist, to weed out people like me, because I would never like, hey man, do you want to do that for like unlimited like in eternal brotherhood? I'm just like, I don't know, probably not,
But the thing is, Andrew, then you get to do it to other people the next year.
Oh right, yeah. And then you get like
You get to pass
You
it
just
on.
have people that you could call to change your tire out for the rest of your life. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's always a weird concept to me. Like, fraternity is like, let's have these clubs. Like, you need to be in a club. I don't know. I wonder what started the need to like have like clubs in college. You know what I'm saying? Where you're just like,
Yeah.
let's start this deal. I don't know. I guess it just started a long time ago. There was some deal. I never understood it though. I never had the need to just be like, yeah, dude, let's be in this club.
But then, like, the thing that I kind of learned about fraternities is it wasn't a whole lot different from than just like other clubs on campus.
Oh,
or just,
yeah.
On campus, there was this group called Town Hall, and they like ran the radio station, and they hosted the Battle of the Bands, and they were the kids wearing the tight jeans that I thought were just like super cool.
Sure.
And so seemingly they were the complete opposite of the fraternity scene.
Right.
But then you would go to their parties, and it would be kind of the same thing. They're just dressed different.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, frats get a bad rap, but frats, it's all the same thing, but just highly structured.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you're the type that, wants to go work for Exxon or wants to work for Old Navy, and you want to work your way all the way up to the top, then sort of like the structured party scene is probably your scene.
It's all the same thing.
Like, you don't mind the bureaucracy.
Yeah, you really don't. I always say that people, the religious aren't the only ones that need to have faith in something, because a lot of people need something to kind of worship, or something to kind of draw them together, even in a sense, to give them a sense of community. Yeah. So it's like, not to get like super deep on you, but like it's I think it's all kind of the same thing. People kind of want, it's nice to have a place to belong, feel like you belong to something, you're in a club. So yeah, it's definitely something I understand. I can understand it.
Yeah.
The need for it's just a very broy way to do it. It's like very like,
sure.
Yeah. It ensures that you'll be wearing striped colored shirts and backwards Abercrombie hats for the rest of your life. So, hey man, whatever you do,
That was the other thing is you go to a fraternity and you're like, do you guys have a dress code? Like,
they do.
Is there a uniform here?
But
then then there are other scenes that you go to. They're like, wait a minute, do you guys have a dress code?
Yeah, they do.
You go to the East Side hipster party. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Are y'all all wearing jean jackets?
Yeah. I do. I do too. Mine's the flannel wearing stoner rock club, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I love seeing the frat guys walk around just anywhere out in public, and they all have the shorts with the loafers and the long sleeve rolled up shirts going, like all of them. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Identifiable.
It's hilarious in like a very harmless way. It's just like, dude, that's so funny, man. So, like they're all going out, and they're all going out to be like, hey, Tanner. Hey, Tanner, check this out, dude. Tonight, chicks, dude. Chicks, we're going to get some chicks, but first we got to stop for some Zaw. Okay? Oh, shit, man. All bros. Can't live without them. Can't live with them. They're probably very hard to live with, literally, so can't do it. Andrew, it's been almost an hour, buddy. Let's wrap it up. Tell everybody where they can hear Shy Beast. Tell them where they can get your photography work online and learn about the whole shebang.
Time has flown by.
It does.
You can listen to Shy Beast on Spotify. You can buy it on iTunes. You can come check out our shows, which are listed on our website, shybeast.com, I believe. And then andrewbennettphoto.com, Andrew Bennett Photo on Instagram. It's probably where I'm most active.
Oh, yeah.
And then Andrew Bennett Photo on Facebook.
Check out the gram. So that sometimes you'll see me on there.
That's right.
But you won't see my face.
That's right.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for doing it, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
What are we to the oceans, the mountains and the canyons? 'Cause I don't feel so small with you. There's so much out in the cosmos, but I don't need a telescope to see the heavens in you. You got me thinking about forever. Wondering if we'll get together a little die.